the game wasn't streaming on my side for some.
Of course it fucking isn't. Because of fucking course, the YouTube streaming system would screw us again, even though I have it on remote now. God damn it. Hi everybody, so hopefully you can actually see and hear us this time. John did not tell me this was a Devolver Digital game. I do not like their company. We will not be featuring this again. This is the one-off. I am not in a good mood because of a whole assortment of reasons related to my new PC crashing and believing for a day that I had lost everything I worked on for the last 3 months. As usual, I am Shinta. John is playing Shadow Warrior today, and over in the corner this time is Alexis.
I'm in the corner world.
So, yeah, if you can actually see us streaming. God damn, I hate the newer YouTube setup. I know I say that every stream, but it's just so terrible. Anyways.
For those who don't know, Shadow Warrior is a game that was based on an ID production studio, an ID game from the 90s. It was one of their one-offs, done in the style of Doom. I'll be doing a new campaign, and I'll be doing it on casual, because this game does get harder even on casual. From 3D Realms, to be exact. My mistake.
What the heck? Oh, this is the original or something?
No, it shouldn't be. Just be a preview, but I'm not controlling this. And I don't know how to skip that. This is weird. This is strange. What is happening? That was weird.
When Bulletstorm? I have no idea what that means.
Oh, Bulletstorm was that first-person shooter from like several years back from that 360, the one with Steve Blum, the main character.
I do not remember hearing of that game ever.
Actually, Bulletstorm was a very interesting, where the whole gimmick was stylish kills, like all those cartoony finishers, like kicking people into electrical generators and creative stuff like that. The more times you did that, the more skill points you got.
Yeah. Glad to recover, fellas. Yeah, I still have a big 2-week delay simply because the PC needs to go in for repairs, and that box is supposed to show up today, but it was stuck in Chicago. And yeah, they said once it gets to them, at least a week to get it back to me, but it needs to get to them first. So we're going to be taking overtime just so I don't need to do that later. But it's still irritating. So irritating.
Prologue.
So yeah, what happened is, I don't even know what happened. A bunch of programs just suddenly stopped working on the new PC, and there was some type of file corruption with... Oh no. This stream's gonna be demonetized.
I will hold the skip.
Yeah.
Basically, the premise of this is you are Lo Wang. Your job is to get a sword from a man named Mr. Mizuyaki for $2 million. And he'll definitely sell. But
Mr.
Mizuyaki.
That's certainly a name.
Yeah. But basically, this is basically done, since this was originally 3D Realms, this is basically has the attitude of Duke Nukem, but without the crap of Duke Nukem Forever.
Yeah. As I was saying, yeah, everything I've been working on is going to end up being delayed until I get that PC back. Hopefully, I might be able to revise some scripts, but everything I need to work on requires a functional editing program, which it does not exist on my old PC anymore, because it just does not want to accept the software. And considering I gotta review footage next for my next few things I gotta write, means zero progress on any of that. Now, I could work on stuff for 2024, but I think even that's excessive for my ridiculous schedule timing.
There's forward thinking, and then there's like two forward thinking.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep, this game has effort put into it.
I think Bandai's recent statement about Japanese shops stopping with catering and model kits will backfire despite the intention to stop What statement is that?
So, story behind that is apparently Bandai sent down word from on high that Japanese stores that sell outside the country or whatever aren't going to be receiving any more model kits to stop scalpers.
That's not going to stop scalping, though.
Well, no, obviously everybody's rightfully pointing out how dumb that is. And as of right now, Hobby Link Japan is still going to be selling Gunpla like they've always have.
Because it's the continuous problem of their exclusivity. Bandai, Premium Bandai Japan US still does not offer everything that Premium Bandai Japan offers.
And also the other big issue being, like, Bandai themselves not putting systems into place to stop the scalping at all, right? Whether it be, like, supply shortage issues, which that's everywhere, you know what I mean, considering pandemic stuff, but also, you know, like, you try to get the Phantom Gundam the other night.
Yeah, and it sold out in literally 10 seconds because the US supply is that low.
Where is the
Nobitsura Kage, that's the name of the store?
Yep.
Because it's like, at this point, the US store has to be afflicted by bot scalpers. There's no other explanation.
You have the sword, I have the cash.
What were you working on, if I'm allowed to ask? I literally completed the Code Geass script as the system got corrupted. So I was very mad at that, because that was 3 years of effort down the drain. Fortunately, I've recovered that, and I can go back through it to fix what was still lost and not backed up. Yeah, why was that not everywhere on my feed?
It's because, like, right now the news came from, like, a Facebook post, so it's, and then Bandai themselves haven't said anything official, per se.
Aha.
But also, like...
My name is Lo Wang.
Which Bandai
Let's make a deal.
Facebook page?
Oh, no, like, not a Bandai Facebook page, it was, like, some third-party, like, Becca fan page.
So that's not exactly a verifiable source. Or they misconstrued stuff that they said in previous statements about limiting services to regions via regarding Premium Bandai Japan. Like, they wouldn't do export services through... they were blocking middleman services from accessing Premium Bandai Japan.
Yeah, so I guess something like that, but...
Anyways.
Gameplay. This is a slasher as well as a shooter, and they do not skimp.
You don't need to stop every time we start talking on something with the chat.
You go into it.
I didn't like action games. I don't. That's why I'm not playing it. Again, John did not tell me this is a Devolver Digital game. I do not want to ever feature Devolver Digital games, so this is the one exception.
That guy just kind of got, like, yeeted off the side.
Oh, yeah.
You can look at this two ways. Mr. Miyazaki is going on a killing spree, or Mr. Miyazaki is going on a killing spree.
No, the man is named Lo Wang. Oh, Lo Wang.
Lo Wang, does that imply the existence of a High Wang?
Is he looking for a woman with green eyes?
Is it the low way or the high way?
But yeah, this also has some cheats that I upload, including a laser sword.
Ooh.
Basically, this is
okay,
so...
like that's something funny about like the half, like this half of a human just like lumping down the stairs.
Oh, good. I look forward to you ripping Suzaki into stupidity to shreds. Hopefully. That was one of the things I was happy I was able to recover because, oh my, yes. There are 3 central points about Code Geass that I keep making throughout the video as I keep providing evidence for them throughout everything. Why?
I'm doing... It's the special, cheats. Just wanted
Oh
to...
yeah, cheats. Yes, the fun part of any game.
Yeah, basically, I can see... Including one from Hotline Miami.
Oh yeah, Hotline Miami. I know that game.
Yep. Basically, you can change a lot of stuff in that. It's...
Oh yeah, that.
But yeah, the script is 52 pages, so I was not looking forward to the prospect of having to rewrite it from scratch. Like, I'm still probably going to be revising it because I'm still a few months from being able to film it, but still.
Ah, dang it. Don't you hate when you walk through a door and there's a freaking wizard?
I was going to say Force user, but... From what I've heard, they're stopping out of Japan, ordering outside distributors to keep the #1 market stable. They build more factories. That would make sense if not for the fact that that's just going to make supply issues worse and create even more issues with that. Because again, they can't stop middleman services.
Anyways. Zilla Enterprises? My god. Did like the 1990s Godzilla with Matthew Broderick finally achieve like sentience?
It has come to the real world, and it wants a sword.
Godzilla with a sword?
It's like someone took the end of Kill Bill Volume 1 and made it a game.
Pretty much, yeah.
Take it off.
You really didn't think it'd be that easy, did you?
Quentin Tarantino's opinion of Bruce Lee is bullshit, though.
What is his opinion of Bruce Lee?
That Bruce Lee was not an actual martial artist, was only an actor and faked all his skill.
Yeah.
Oh,
No. To hell with that. To hell with him for that. No one disses Bruce fucking Lee.
Bruce Lee's daughter has been calling him out for that for years.
Yeah.
Like, screw it. Like,
Bruce Lee wasn't actually an actual martial artist. That's why he was so good at what he did.
He was a philosophical man, for God's sake. Quentin Tarantino, honestly, he is one of the most
Like, there's one thing of believing that his reputation is overblown, but that is not what his opinion is.
Yeah. And for God's sake, you're pretty much, like... The thing is, Quentin Tarantino is a pretentious asshole. He is good at what he does at cinema, but he is so pretentious about it.
Like, he's so far up his own butt that, like, he actually, like, ceases to exist.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know I did... Care of Death asks, I know I did a StarCraft 2 Let's Play before we found out how horrible Blizzard is. Was wondering if there was any chance of you playing through any other RTS games such as Homeworld. StarCraft is basically the only RTS I like. I've tried others, none of them work for me.
Yeah, that's understandable.
It's like, I finished the Legacy of the Void and Nova Let's Plays years ago, but that was around the time that Blizzard was revealed to be so terrible, and that's why I never posted them.
Okay, so Suddenly Demons.
Suddenly Demons indeed.
And also, Spring is building an Imperial Dramon while watching this. Nice.
Fighter mode, I'm assuming, because Paladin mode isn't out yet. Watch out for the leg joints. Well, I should really specify feet joints, because they can be a bit loose.
Are you saying that they are foot loose?
Foot loose.
Take off the Sunday shoes.
Well, hey. Not good. Okay. What the hell did they give me?
Baja Blast.
Oh yeah, that would get you. That would screw anyone over.
Yeah, Baja Blast mixed with Four Loko.
Ugh. I can't even stand Baja Blast. I just don't like the taste.
Who knows what would happen if the McRib became a regular menu item.
So much diarrhea.
So yeah, this week has been an entire thing of ups and downs between that, losing out on a chance to win money, nonsense at work, but at least, hey, SMP Gal Icarus and oversized Gal Lion.
I can't wait to build the oversized Gal line, because you know what I'm going to do with that? By the time that Gal line releases, Davis, Act Mode Hibiki should be out, so you can put her, like...
Riding the lion.
Yeah.
That would be funny.
Yeah.
I actually want to dig out the, Gokaiger Gal line to see how it stacks up in size comparison.
You can actually make a legitimate, like, Gal line stack up. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, wait. So you have a gun, right?
Yeah.
Sean?
I have a gun.
But you also have a sword.
Gun sword.
You put the gun on the sword with duct tape.
Exactly. Boom. Revolver sword. It's a revolver gun that fires katanas.
Bruce Lee was the only one to master. Said by Dustin, Lee was the only one to master the 1-inch punch. To my knowledge, that has to stand for something. And then they reference Koichi Sakamoto, I should specifically say, director Koichi Sakamoto, then referenced that with the fighting style of Kamen Rider Meteor.
Actually, fun story about the 1-inch punch. I do vaguely remember like seeing like a History Channel special on like people with extraordinary like physical feats, and they didn't have a person doing the 1-inch punch, but they had somebody do something similar. And what they found was that like John, if you can say hand, like the 1-inch punch supposedly goes like you start off like this, and then with a quick strike you collapse into a fist, and then like do like that kind of a quick motion like that. And supposedly the person who was doing the punch was hitting with enough force that it made it feel like you were getting hit by a truck.
Yeah.
So it's the suddenness of that.
Yeah, it's like the sudden force of like being punched with the fist at such close range.
Yeah, and I remember seeing about the motion of curling your hand increases the tension of the force that's being applied.
Something. I think that's what the secret behind the 1-inch punch is. I also honestly though, where my mind goes with the 1-inch punch was that chapter of the original Yu-Gi-Oh manga where they came across that Bruce Lee wannabe.
Really?
Do you remember that?
I don't remember
chapter?
that.
No, I don't remember that
I
chapter.
remember. I for some reason remember that this chapter of the original Yu-Gi-Oh manga where there's this jerk that's bullying Jinochi, and Yugi's just like, "Hey, that's not cool," and then the Pharaoh's just like, "Time to teach this sucker a lesson."
I do not remember
look it
that.
up. If you look it up, it's there.
That's
Seriously,
weird.
the original Yu-Gi-Oh manga like it's wild.
Mm.
From like evil RPG sessions to like explosive Ferris wheel.
We'll get over this eventually. Cameo.
So was the show of Kogias they were reviewing, or the recap films of the sequel and why they fail? Good question. The answer is yes. It's everything. It is the OVA, it is the manga, it is the original series, it is the movies.
It is the most comprehensive breakdown you possibly could because to fully explore your thesis.
Unfortunately, the problem is I have to retrack down copies of Code Geass's manga because the most irritating thing about the Code Geass wiki is it is fragmented to hell. It has some information, it does not have all information, it doesn't have accessible links to the information. I have difficulty finding translations of the manga that I know are out there.
Anyways, so don't you hate it, John, when you're just trying to get a sword for a guy and then you're attacked by demons?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's what I would like to know, Mr. Sword Ninja Man. Am I coming through on the audio okay?
Yeah, you are.
We're all good?
Yeah.
Yep. I'm actually beige. That guy's not gonna be in Rush Hour 3.
He is not. Also, I could kill a bunny, but I will not kill a bunny.
Why would you kill a bunny?
Because I'm evil. But I'm not.
Unless it's the Beast of Cabanog.
Benog.
Or was it the Beast of...
The Beast of was an animated feature. The Beast of Benog was a puppet.
Does that include the manga Nightmare of Nunnally? Oh, crap. I had forgotten about Nightmare of Nunnally, but it doesn't factor in as much to my thesis statement, so I could mention it, but it's not relevant for the purposes of recap. Maribel's adventures, however, are. mainly because of the Naoto Kozuki plotline that got removed. For those who don't know about that, Naoto was apparently supposed to have faked his death instead of actually dying, and he was supposed to be part of Peacemark, which was supposed to roll back into the main series, but never actually did.
Don't fuck with me. Where is the sword?
Some Emiya kid has it.
Are we gonna get an epilogue for Super Robot Wars V playthrough with differences, or is that not worth it? I did everything. I literally did everything. There is no epilogue to post. Like, I'm confused on that.
Unless what?
I think they mean X. Like, the differences between the ending of that and X.
No, that's not what they wrote.
They might have made a mistake.
Whatever.
So I assume we'll cover Oz the Reflection. Oz the Reflection is Maribel's story, so yeah. I mean, it's technically Maribel's story. She's one of the relevant characters from it.
Now I'm just imagining Wizard of Oz with Code Geass.
I would say Suzaku would be the Scarecrow because he doesn't have brains.
Ha!
I couldn't resist.
Lelouch is the wizard, and it's like, pay no attention to the emperor behind the curtain. And then C2 is just like, pulled back the curtain. It's like, Lelouch, get out of there. I am not in here. What you see is but an illusion.
Okay, we have to think of who would be who. Okay, so... who?
Callan is Dorothy.
Callan is Dorothy. Who would be the Wicked Witch of the West?
You know, you're saying this, but they did the entire Wizard of Oz thing for Oz of the Reflection.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Maribel Mel Britannia is literally the Witch of Britannia. One of her companions is Toto, and her best friend / lover is Aldrin Zevon.
Class while Seafood took his morning dump.
Yours to command. Use it or lose it.
So you got Chi now.
I got a gun, I got Chi.
That's a lot of stuff to throw at the player just on a prologue.
Oh yeah, they've got a lot in this game.
I think, personally, I would have paced things out a bit. You know what I mean?
But also, weapon upgrades.
They were asking about differences between Chitose and Soji. Basically, the differences between Soji and Chitose, I already went over. Their stories are not that different. It's a sister versus a pseudo-romantic relationship. There is not that much different. Literally, it was in the review.
Let's switch things up and blap some guys.
I cast gun. Where's your flashlight?
Oh yeah, that's I think it's on the side of the gun.
Oh, it's of course, a gun that shoots flashlights.
No. Yeah, I know there's an entrance in here somewhere. I know that much. Where? But where?
Well, did you try that locked door?
We'll find it.
Listen, we're all trying to find the keys to the locked doors of life.
Someone's probably gonna make a self-help book out of that.
Put down the doors of your heart. Unlock the potential within inside of you.
Once more, I've cut something unworthy.
Eh.
Let me guess, Akito the Exiled included, as well as the original Lelouch Lives scene from the last episode of the OG series. Lelouch doesn't live at the end of the series. Okay, it's left deliberately ambiguous, but I do address a bunch of that. And yes, Akita the Exiled is involved because of how it basically shows that the entire supernatural mythos arc ended up being a plot tumor.
Dude, like, they're so rude. Like, the demon was just having a day, chilling, and then you just sliced and diced him and kicked him off a cliff.
Well, then I'll just blap them to death.
You can
Collect spirits of fallen creatures to regain health.
So wait, you absorb souls? What are you like, Quan Chi?
Yeah, the interpretation that the Lelouch live scene from the end of R2 is basically predicated on people disliking R2 so much they wanted an R3 to resolve the issues. And admittedly, Akita the Exiled, as is part of my discussion of that, actually opens the door to that being plausible. Like, they were trying to... Akita the Exiled was not written by the original Code Geass staff, but they were trying to open ways to, say, bring Lelouch back without everybody wanting him dead again, and that is basically the source idea for the whole Julius Kingsley plotline from Akito.
Julius Kingsley?
Yeah, basically Lelouch's brainwashed version of himself. He looks exactly like Lelouch, but the idea from that is you can basically surgically alter a doppelganger to make him look like Lelouch, and if Lelouch is alive, you can just say, hey, this was actually done by Julius Kingsley, and get him off from everything he did as the Demon Emperor. Because obviously, someone who died in front of a bunch of people could not possibly be alive.
You see, because, as we all know, Davis...
People die when they are killed.
Boom. Dab.
I'm a big fan of Akita the Exile, but there are things about it that baffle me to no end. Yeah, again, not the same writer as the main series.
So, you've had a day right in the game, John. Like, you just want to do a mission.
Pay $2 million for an old sword.
It's just an old blade. Hey. I didn't realize demons were full of fruit punch.
No, they're not full of fruit juice. They're full of steak sauce.
Ah, cool steak sauce. Let's make a barbecue. So, are you a karma chameleon, Don?
Yep. Slice and dice
Dude,
him!
there's demons about. Why are you attacking? You disarmed him. He disarmed that guy too.
Like, real... DJ... Okay, yeah, you definitely missed details in Akita the Exile, dude. All Japanese citizens in the European Union in the Code Geass timeline are second-class citizens because they are refugees. Literally refugees from Japan. It's just the art style kind of obfuscates the fact that they are Japanese.
Knowledge is not wisdom. Wisdom is not truth. Truth is not beauty. Beauty is not love. Love is not music. Music is...
the best. It just had so much it could fit on there.
Now, for the ones who, like, were emigrated citizens, it's like the current stuff that's going on with Japanese Americans and them, or Chinese Americans, or Korean Americans, and them looking Asian enough to just validate in racist people's minds hate crimes despite them not being responsible at all for the pandemic. It's like, stupid people do stupid shit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like part of the larger commentary about racism and putting up deliberate barriers between people despite such being stupid. And admittedly, it's not well addressed. None of that stuff is well addressed inside Code Geass, but there are reasons for it.
There are reasons for the things that people do.
So the dragons and Heavensward did you prefer?
Final Fantasy XIV.
Yeah, Final Fantasy XIV, so I'm blanking because it's been 5 years. Like, to fight? To engage with?
I think it's because you're the dragon person. Like
Bahamut was cool.
everybody.
Bahamut is always cool, but Bahamut was not a majorly involved thing in Heavensward.
Yeah.
I don't think I played much of Heavensward's actual dungeons to do stuff with that. I was just focused on getting to then max level so I could do the PvP for the Garo armor.
John, no. No.
John,
Don't.
yeah, no.
John,
not
don't you
gonna kill
understand that
bunnies.
tricky for kids?
Media Hood, I don't know if I'm simply ignorant, but I'm kind of getting Ghost of Tsushima mixed with Doom vibes from this game.
It is pretty much that. It's like, it's technically more Duke Nukem because it was from 3D Realms, but unlike Duke Nukem, this doesn't crap the bed on its reboot.
Well, also, to be fair, the story behind the Duke Nukem Forever is like...
It's a legendary fail.
It's wild. It is. It's not as simple as game studio made game bad.
It's like you're pretty much like having yeah, I won't fault it that. It went through so many different development cycles, so many different console generations that it being good was never
like
going
if it came out like after all those years of development as good, it would have been a miracle.
But it sadly did not.
Yeah.
Plus, there's the fact that Duke himself is a bit dated.
Yeah, very dated. Like there was a time when that character would work, but in the context of the modern times from which Duke Nukem Forever would take place.
And meanwhile, this could have become dated, especially since the original character Lo Wang was just a bit of a Chinese stereotype in how he was addressed, but the developers decided they wanted to update with this, so made him pretty much a different character all around. Nerdy swordsman who likes comic books.
Oh, sure, they stay to be born in Europe. Well, to be fair, my discussion is less focused on any of them, so I honestly could be misremembering because that wasn't the focus point of my discussion. EVO Studio, there was also the Lost Colors PS2 game with the original character Rai. DS game and pseudo-canon, considering Rai Sumeragi's backstory is an entire mess. The problem with it being pseudo-canon is it explains the backstories of several canon characters, so it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't thing, plus Rai was in the movies.
So you get tattoos and you get power?
Yep, you upgrade your you get healing powers, katana powers, you get the whole shebang.
So you're saying that if you paint yourself red, you'll go faster?
Mm-hmm. Pretty much.
So when this guy does it, he's a cool, awesome person, but when I do it, I get involved with the police.
You were running around naked. No, Alexis was not running around naked.
What do you think of the one manga idea that made Rolo into Lelouch's long-lost twin brother? Dumb because of the age difference. It would make more sense for Rolo to have been Nunnally's twin brother, but that was then taken by VV because that would have been something plausible instead of Lelouch's twin.
Rolo as Lelouch's twin brother? That's plausible.
Then, I mean, the plausibility is all based on the fact that their bastard of a sperm donor has memory editing abilities.
Wait, I just realized that Charles would be the ultimate jerk to take out in a restaurant.
Jason Best, didn't see you as a first-person shooter type of guy. I'm not. Yeah. Again, for people who were not here or did not see the description, John is playing this week. And John did not tell me this was a Devolver Digital game. A company I never want to showcase, promote, or do anything with.
And to be fair, I did not know.
I
could have sworn I brought it up how much I disliked them whenever we did the E3 watch-throughs.
I do not remember any of that. I don't recall that. If you could tell me why.
So without spoilers, is Code Geass worth at least a watch? First season, yes. R2 is extremely subjective. Movies are hot garbage because they screw up basically everything important.
I still consider Code Geass to be like one of my favorite top 3 anime of all time, because while I can fully acknowledge like all the problems that the series does have, I think it's at least for the original series, I think it does more things right than wrong at the end of the day. You know what and it also is a classic example of Sunrise's first season good, second season mixed bag. You know.
With exception to Gundam 00 and...
With exception to Gundam 00, but you
and Build Divers Re-Rise, because that was one season that was planned out from the start, just split into 2 airing periods.
For me, I personally am not in any hurry to watch R2, mostly because I don't want to see Suzaku's face anymore or hear his voice, because I loathe him as a character. And it would just be me screaming at the screen every time I saw him.
It is. I think it is fair to like avoid a piece of media if you're aware
If a character ruins it for you.
Yeah, and he's so prominent that it makes it such a big problem. Oh, hey guys, you're still here? Bet you were wondering what was up with that stuff.
Yeah.
Too bad you couldn't just lead the demons to them.
Yeah.
But
I blew off his hand with the gun?
oh yeah, do you realize the hand cannon that you're packing? That is a pretty sizable revolver, dude.
Oh yeah. It is...
Joacine is asking us about our thoughts on Scarlet and Violet because they couldn't make it for the Legend of Arceus stream. I'm pretty sure... Is the Arceus stream archive not visible?
Maybe they just didn't have a chance to like watch it yet.
Okay, that's plausible. We're excited for Scarlet, but I'm actually foregoing getting the Firestarter for that rare generation because I'm more interested in the Grass Cat.
Yeah, I'm Team Fuecoco because it is a spherical round lizard boy. Look at that is like something about him just reminds me of Mudkip.
We're waiting for it to be revealed that its final evolution is some type of snake. Just to continue some people's view of the Firestarters being based off the Chinese zodiac.
I'm kind of hoping that it's actually just a giant fire crocodile to contrast with Prologue. You know, because one's an alligator, one's a crocodile. See you later, alligator. See you in a while, crocodile.
Technically, they already have that, but with different Pokemon.
Well, like there's crocodile, which is like a dark round croc. But like, what's cooler than a crocodile? A crocodile on fire.
Actually, that would probably make it even more horrifying as an apex predator.
Exactly.
Because that would mean it could go underwater, be on fire, and not die.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you'll excuse me if I don't want that, Lana. I love to do Archer stuff. I love to do Archer imitations. Archer as in the TV show, not the character from Star Trek Enterprise. Also, this is something I almost forgot, but there's a pretty funny bit here.
Oh, like when you're just trying to leave?
Road ends and the edge of the map literally stops.
Kind of, yeah.
Well, okay, let's see. I always like it when game developers get cheeky with like these. So wait, what happens if you do try to just straight up leave the story?
Road ends, the road literally ends. Like, it's no longer a road, it's just a mud path.
Oh my!
Yep. This.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Wait, is that paper?
It's a curtain, yeah. And it's the same thing at the other end of the road.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Robots, though.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Arnita's views of the Japanese of explaining any outside media. Not to my knowledge. I think it's either just general Britannian xenophobia or she was involved in an incident that traumatized her. People can go either way on it, but neither perspective on that feel that the eventual links she goes to are justified, nor does it justify the table scene.
Oh god, yeah, that part.
Everybody, let's pour one out for Table Coon. Because no table deserves to have that happen to them.
We won't go into detail for those who don't know. You just looked that up for yourself. We're not talking about it.
Yeah, once you see it, it is such a left field, okay. Oh, sweet, you got your shadow buddy, man.
Yeah, the staff for Code Geass are not known for alternate sexuality representation.
My name is Hoji.
Hoji.
But it's impossible. How did you must be the one that the prophecy spoke of.
The prophecy.
What else does the prophecy say?
Why, that the one will also believe any god.
Since there's some fanfic discussion in the chat, I'm not going to say which ones, but the issue with Suzaku is generally focused around his inability to accept that he himself is wrong.
Wait,
It's like
am I out of touch? No, it is Lelouch who is wrong.
Yeah.
Yes, it basically becomes that over time with the guy. So if you can get him to acknowledge that others' perspectives besides his own on a matter, especially if they have more experience with those issues. Case in point, Lelouch would know his father and his method, his issues, his father's his hang-ups better than a man who has never met him.
Yeah.
To know that there's no negotiating or getting what he's after from the guy. He would be the one with the experience in that, and Suzaku is obviously the series never listens to him. But for fanfic writers who can write a Suzaku that actually listens to other people and doesn't lie to himself to keep, believing he's in the right, and despite all evidence to the contrary, you can get a decent character out of him. But the inability to accept he was ever wrong is a large part of what breaks the guy.
Yeah. Also, to answer Terror Death's question, Gundam 00 isn't getting a new anime. It's more like just promotional stuff to celebrate the new metal build.
Yeah, it's basically a non-canon OVA stuff with them featuring the new metal build support parts getting showcased, because there's no way in Gundam 00's continuity where those kinds of things would functionally work. Or fit, at least.
oh hey, it's the apocalypse. Go for it. Wow.
Looks like you picked the wrong human.
Oh John. John. Colors is pretty good. Well, not you,
The
John.
song?
The 556 guy,
Yeah.
yeah.
Joashin, it was how I pronounced it. They were trying to tell me there's an alternate pronunciation, but the problem is, we have a John here.
Yeah.
So you're John Prime. John, he's John Divis Prime.
Unfortunately, with the game playing, you've got the touch earlier. That takes on a whole new context.
I'm just sad that we could not show it just because of copyright reasons. Because that's partly why I wanted to show it. Because any game that starts with the touch is just in my heart forever.
We live in copyright hell.
Copyright hell is hell, and it shall be damned forever.
Yeah. Even if they licensed it, that license doesn't exactly carry over to a Let's Player stream of the game.
Yeah.
It's why we went on such a panic when we did Super Robot Wars 30, because of the
we didn't know it was going to immediately default to the.
We did not know that. No, that was not on us. That was on the game.
Yeah. So.
Oh yeah, but I love the Code Geass memes with the song Colors, because it's the opening beats.
The Jibun Wo jokes.
Yeah.
That was a meme.
Yeah, just kicks down door.
And now I got a spin slice.
Ooh.
You'll get dizzy.
Yes, I will, but it is awesome.
Get dizzy with it.
I sliced two things at once.
You slice two things with one thing.
So you're saying that you spin me right round, baby, right round?
I want to try doing that more, but we have things to do.
Alas, if you spin too many times, you'll dig yourself into the ground.
Just like Tasmanian Devil. But
Or you'll be like that one episode of the regular show that we used to watch, John. Remember when they spun around and they just wound up in a different dimension?
oh yeah.
The regular show.
Spin too many times like that and you'll get stuck in Uzumaki.
Please don't mention that. I am.
Hey, John, it's nothing to get twisted over, okay?
Okay, for those who don't know, I am deathly afraid of.
No, I'm right there. Junji Ito's stuff disturbs me on a level I cannot even properly describe.
Yeah, and yet the guy is so approachable and nice looking that it just makes me think, what goes on behind your brain?
It's the same thing as Go Nagai in some ways. From everything we hear about Go Nagai, he is one of the nicest people you ever meet, but he can come up with some demented stuff.
He really does.
Honestly, if you've ever seen pictures of Dona Guy, he looks like your friendly neighborhood grandpa. He looks like the guy that would invite you in and share a ball of like miso soup with you.
He seems like a Japanese Mr. Rogers almost.
Right, but then he'll like draw like Devilman stuff, and it's like, and this is the visages of hell.
And so at the end of Devilman, everyone dies.
The end.
And then you're just like, why, Grandpa? Why would you tell me this?
Also, the favorite Gundam opening, yeah, that's like an impossible question. There's too many good ones.
Favorites or least despised member of the Knights of the Round. For DJ Toku, it is Gina, Nonette, and Monica. I mean, yeah, that's basically the three ones that seemed like decent people. Especially when you factor in the Lost Colors information about them as well.
Yeah, I thought all things would blow.
Phrasing?
I wonder if I get an achievement for this. Like, just blowing everything up.
John, arson's not the answer.
Arson is always the answer!
No, it's not, John! You gotta stop burning things in the ground!
Stop squishing my dreams and ambitions, Mom!
Yeah.
A robot.
I don't know. I want to do...
I think it's the shopkeeper.
That is a weird shopkeeper. But, you know what?
It's like, you went in a rustic town, and then you found out that a place in there is a massive arcade. It's like, where's the business? Where is the demographic that would justify this amount of an arcade in a place like this?
Oh yeah, Demon Hearts. Demon Hearts are cool because I can squishy them.
And yeah, I would think of a place like half this size with like restaurant amenities as included as part of it, like, you know, and like a not exactly a Chuck E. Cheese like place, but in the same vein as that. You know, recreational place, making it all one stop for like entertainment. But
I like to question, how did that lock get on that door?
Told me what? Told me what? Hello?
Damn tightropes or...
Life is a tightrope, and you are the Swiss cheese.
What? That doesn't fit!
You don't fit.
Thanks for bringing up my social problems, Mom! And my social anxieties.
I don't think you're going to be able to get across again.
Oh, what?
Yeah, I mean, you blew the thing up.
It happens. You know, because there are many tightropes within life. Sometimes you just need to explode them.
There are many doors in life, Ed boy.
No, there's not.
Life has many doors, Ed boy.
You failed the quote! Be gone with you!
I'm sorry for misquoting Raj.
Rolf.
Rolf! Why did I think it was Raj?
Oh,
It's the guy from the IT guy. IT
No,
guys.
No, that's not. No, that right. No, that's well, there's Roy and then there's Moss. Raj, I think, might be from Big Bang Theory. I don't know.
Their thoughts on theory that the Dynazenon world is Akane Earth recreated by Gridman Beam with Gom and others being powered by leftovers. No, we've gotten confirmation that that's not what was going on there. It occurred in the real world, aka the Earth Akane is actually on, aka the normal Earth that Gridman and stuff encounters, and the Earth in 4S was virtual recreation caused by
Um,
infection in Kane's head.
Like, the way I see it is that, Alexis Carib, came down, manipulated Akane's, like, depression and desires, and then she created that entire mini city, and because of how Alexis, his species works, it was like a negative feedback loop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so essentially every time when Gridman interfered and made Akane even more upset, he would create stronger and stronger monsters, which is exactly what Alexis wanted anyway.
Yeah, whereas everything with Galma ties it into the original series, which means it can't be something from a recreation or alternate Earth. It's back in the same original Earth. Just in anime form and not live action.
Right, for purposes of, anime.
Basically, what's been done with the two Gridman anime is they're expanding on the concepts related in single one-off episodes of Gridman itself. Because there was an episode of the original Gridman series where all the fights and world and everything were in someone's head that was just connected to the cyberspace in the series. And that's basically what's happened with Knight from Anti, in that he was taken out of the world recreation by Nidaime.
It's confusing, but basically Matrix with robots.
Yes.
That's like the simplest way to explain it without explaining it.
Granted, that'll probably be better clarified in the Gridman Dynazenon movie.
Which I can't... We're seeing that, right?
Yes.
We have to see that. I would love to see.
I mean, come on. It's Trigger on a movie budget. If you ever seen Studio Trigger on a movie budget, like, it is a feast for the eyes. Like, Promare was... so good.
Yeah, Premiere was visually awesome.
Like I don't care if any critics were scoffing at anime films. Like, that looked like it took so much time and effort to pull off the aesthetics. You know what I mean?
Have you played SD Gundam Crossways? Still not yet. We have not had the time.
Time is our enemy. It is our greatest enemy, but we will one day defeat it. Hopefully.
Seriously, I've already lost all my vacation time with the messes that have occurred the first few months of this year. Hell, there are more ones outside because of goddamn squirrels. Which is something I gotta do when we finish streaming.
Girls.
Thoughts on the Getter Robo Arc anime? Alexis, you want to command that one?
Because I'm the Getter gal. Getter Robo Arc as an anime, it's rough to say the least. It's a case of, it definitely gets the story beats it wants to across from like the original source material, but I feel like the biggest thing that holds it back was the decision to make Getter Arc, like, all that stuff CGI, because the anime production company who was making Getter Arc, they couldn't, they sometimes pulled it off really well. There are some legitimately nice shots of Getter or of Arc, but for the most part, it doesn't feel like it has the same weight and impact as it should. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because we're dissociated from the original continuity of the mangas.
Yeah, and the fact that Getter Arc even got an anime at all is still like a miracle, and I'm super happy that it happened. But because it is reliant on, it's going off the manga continuity, then if you've never read Getter Robo Go or only familiar with Shinta's Getter Robo Armageddon, you are going to be a little bit lost. A little bit. Like, there is enough information in Arc for you to catch up to speed, but not by much,
Let's put it this way. This was clearly something for fans that anyone who's not familiar with it as a fan is going to struggle with on engaging with. Squirrels? Yeah, squirrels just ripped open a side of the roof in our backyard. So I need to... Unfortunately, I've been trying to do a live and let live thing with the animals around our house. Unfortunately, property damage is where they cross the line, so I had to get squirrel poison. But it also showed that the previous owners did not hold up their end of the bargain, because one of the things that was one of the prerequisites for us buying the place was them to fix up the stuff the squirrels had torn open before, and they just nailed siding over it.
Lovely. Anything else I should know about?
That's nice. I'm happy for them. John in the chat, like, saying that a company in Latin America bought some rights to Kamen Rider seasons and are subbing them. And considering how, like, we take for granted all the anime and stuff that we get to stream over here, but in other countries it can be like pulling teeth to get anything.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, with Latin America especially, them getting anything is like, you know, I'm happy for them.
Notable.
Yeah, it's notable. Like,
though it once more showcases how badly just the West has been shafted by that, because who knows how badly they had to pay out the nose to do that.
yeah.
Whereas the reason why it's been so hard for normal Western audiences to get that stuff is Toei wants money, or Toei will not do it for any price.
Or
they just hand it to the absolute worst people they can.
And when Davis says they want money, he means big money.
Yeah.
And also the other potential that, like, you never know when, like, some government person's gonna be like, oh, think of the children. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sure if you heard about this story, but in Australia, like, there was a politician who was up in arms over the anime Zombieland saga. You know why?
Because it featured zombies?
Nope, because there was a character that was trans.
Uh,
And they were, like, so concerned about the evil of that. And said trans character is, like, the most innocent person in the entire show, and it's like...
But yet it's like, but
it's like, this is what you're afraid of? This is...
that's like being offended by Bert and Ernie.
Yeah, exactly. If you're offended by Bert and Ernie, then, like, you need to, like, get help. Like, imagine being afraid of, like, Big Bird, but not because, like, Big Bird legitimately scares you, but because, like, oh, how dare that big talking bird teach kids?
We don't want a giant bird to teach our kids. We don't want anyone to teach our kids. We want them to be as ignorant as we were of everything.
Because, you see, 2 + 2 equals fish, and fish divided by the square root of applesauce yields the result of chemical X.
Which also equals fairies!
And the world goes round, and we all go goo 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 goo.
Something. Just stand there and breathe. They sure do smell like burnt taint.
Shred it!
But don't you love it when people just randomly leave their money lying around?
Oh, I love it. It's just
Like,
the one.
imagine if that worked in real life. Like, you're just walking down the street and there's like a crate with like $1,000 in it for no reason.
Or if you could smash vases and then get $50 out of it, I would love
Like,
that.
no, but-
Why can't life be like that?
Life is like Legend of Zelda. You just break into people's houses and be like, "Sorry, excuse me, folks. Hero of Hyrule, doing my thing. Don't blink."
Consequences don't exist for me.
It's like, honey, he's stealing your money.
My medicine. Now it says medicine now.
It's like, but I need that to live.
I love it. That's one of my favorite sketches from back in the day. It's like, you're kidnapping my grandma? Why?
Oh, that's good. Oh, did not know that.
What about it? The Sato Company subbed to a bunch of 80s Sentai?
Yeah,
thing?
that one. I knew Sony. I didn't realize they were around that long. So they're definitely established it at the very least.
Or they've been doing those subs recently for a while. Either way.
Yeah.
Let's
I just
walk
always
these
like,
boxes. See what's
I don't really hear much about like how other countries handle like things when they come to importing anime or like live action stuff.
I mean, we've heard about some of them, but only for specific circumstances, like the
Yeah.
big green tub of Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
The big green tub.
It's referred to that as they refer to Piccolo as Big Green.
I know. I love that. That is. I remember seeing that years ago on YouTube. Oh man, that was classic.
Like, some things are just magical.
It's just beautiful. And then it was made one of Team 4 Star's best running gags. In my opinion. I don't know what everyone else thought of it. Well, my health is at 69.
That's not nice.
You suck.
I don't suck.
You could have made the joke and you didn't? What's wrong with you?
There's a lot of things wrong with me, John. You should know.
They dubbed them in the 80s, okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
What would you prefer, a Nightmare Frame or a Paramail?
Ooh.
Um,
I'm Paramel.
In 9th Generation Nightmare, that's one thing. Paramails, though, are, like, comparable to 9th Generation. Okay, we gotta rephrase that. Nightmares versus any Paramail that is not a Ragnamail. I think that's the problem there,
Yeah.
because, like, there are some problems with the standard Paramails, and that they're made for people to die.
Exactly.
Whereas you get in the 9th Generation Nightmare range, and then that's high speed, high combats, high survivability. Except for the Lancelot,
Yeah.
because it still doesn't have an ejection system.
I guess, like, I prefer the Paramail simply for the transforming aspect, you know, like, going from a robot mode to, like, a... Like,
The problem is it does leave you exposed.
it does leave you exposed. I just mean, like, if we're talking about pure combat, I'm going with the Nightmare. But if you ask me, hey, if you had a robot that you could just fly around in, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also, this is just, like, a personal thing. I tend to like robots where piloting the machine is just as risky as, like poses just as much of a risk to the hero as it does to, like, the enemies they fight. What I mean is, like, you know, when you get inside of a scope dog, like, sure, scope dogs can, like, tear things up, but they can be extremely fragile.
I guess that makes sense for your love of G Gundam's G Gundam's units because of the mobile tray system being harmful to people that haven't had the proper training.
Right, like, but like but if you had the proper training, then theoretically anybody could pilot a mobile suit in the G Gundam universe. But if you're just like a normal weak-willed, squishy, non-martial art human, then you're gonna get hurt. You know what I mean? You can kind of
Yeah. And then also the interest in the IBO suits is because the Alania Vijana system.
right, where it's like, yes, they're not exactly the most powerful things in the world, but because of that system, it's like...
And I totally butchered the name of that system, I'm betting. It's been a while since we watched IBO.
At least season 1.
Yeah.
Reap what you sow.
So what you reap.
Thoughts on the Yuma versus Astral Duel and Zell. Yuma has the most plot armor of any Yu-Gi-Oh protagonist short of Yusaku.
Yuma, who's
From Zell.
Zell.
Oh, okay.
He's the Exceed monster guy.
Okay, I didn't know. I've never watched Cell.
Like,
Yeah.
I kind of guess that's why, like, when I saw his duels with Kaido and Zell, like, I always enjoyed because, like, here's Yuma with everything that says he has plot armor, and then Kaido was like, nah, man, I have galaxy eyes.
Yeah, I have the thing that specifically disables plot armor for this season.
Right, and I love how, like, I will never forget, like, one of the times where they dueled, and Yuma got, like, the Super Saiyan awesome Zell armor or whatever, and he had, like, all these awesome monsters, and the most he could do to Kaido was duel him to a draw. And the draw only happened because Kaido was just like, nah, I ain't losing.
I'm taking you with me.
Yeah, like, no, it was literally like if I'm not winning, you're not winning. I think it says more that the opponent forces a draw than like admit that they were going to lose, right?
I'm starting to like this.
Of course you have a submachine.
Yeah. And of course I got it from the sheriff's car. Which,
Like you do.
I mean, who says you can't... What? I mean, proper police arming? What's that? Oh, back. Doobie doobie doo.
Doobie Brothers?
Doobie doobie.
Doobie Doobie Doo?
Oh, this is a good question from D-Day Toku. Favorite Yu-Gi-Oh! Archetype?
Fortune Ladies!
Obviously, mine is clearly Blue Eyes, but there are a bunch of secondaries. Like, if you can name a decent favorite archetype from every season, like you're in a good position.
Personally, I'm thinking the magician archetype. You know, the dark magician girl. I like all the dark magician archetypes. It's just classic for me.
Hmm.
And again, that's off the top of my head.
Yeah.
I will say this. I like to think that like in every Yu-Gi-Oh era, there has been at least one archetype that we've collectively thought was a really good idea.
Yeah. For GX, it was Cyber Dragons and Cyber Darks that I absolutely love, plus E-Heroes. Frankly, a lot of stuff from GX had good archetype support. For 5Ds, it was basically just Designer Dragons, and everything else that was notable for their archetypes basically got fleshed out later, for the most part. Junks were postscript. Fortune Ladies, again, Alexis is mad crazy with them. But Planets more got support as a type than an archetype in that season. Morphtronics were somehow tournament winners for a while there, and Blackwings continued to be a scourge on the metagame. For Zell, Galaxy Eyes was the big one. Then they had a bunch of Aquamonster support with Shark cards, and then you had the Onomatopoeia group with Yuma's cards.
Which I honestly thought like was a really like I love the Onomatopoeias, you know what I mean?
And then had a bunch of secondary archetypes that ran support for various groups, like the Trains or the Heraldic Beasts, and there were a bunch of interesting things that I don't think just caught a lot of people's attention outside of Super Deck supports. Arc 5, like, you can just throw a dart there and find something decent.
Mm-hmm. They really try to, like, cover white bases.
Yeah, they made all... because it was the series about making everything playable.
And Konami said no.
And then Vrains happened, and now the game only survives on legacy support.
Okay.
Or otherwise decks that are specifically built and made to destroy the metagame. Drytrons, Sky Strikers, the Numeron Exceed monsters are monsters. I kept playing Mouse Duel until the software crash, and whenever I would counter any of those, it was not fun. God, Tri-Brigades. Fuck Tri-Brigades. But yeah, the game is basically broken at this point, with every other legacy archetype basically scrambling to, for Konami to make cards that don't make them completely obsolete and unworkable. But then that drives the power creep problem. Basically, they make cards so broken now that if your preferred play archetype is not part of the power creep, it's worthless.
That's right, heal, man, heal. Or how do you heal?
Basically, there are a lot of button combos.
And Lich 2 are just plain terrible.
Basically, tap twice to the left and then press L2. Tap to the right and press L2. motherfucker!
But yeah, it is kind of a sorry state of affairs when, like, the game keeps getting more and more busted. Like, I understand, like, that was always, like, the joke that Yu-Gi-Oh! Was always a busted game. But, I don't know, it just kind of feels like it's the wrong kind of busted.
Yeah, it's like, if you know of this obscure card, you can use it with later release cards for massive damage. There's a card released in the Shining Darkness in Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D is called Leeching the Light, which makes it so that your monsters, all of your monsters, gain the attack of one light monster your opponent controls. It is a anti-meta deck now that's devastating against both Enlich and Drytron players because both Enlich and Drytron are primarily light attribute.
Right, and because of, like, the high damage ceilings they try to go for, like, if you play that card, then...
Yeah, so you want to know what the combo is for maximizing Leeching the Light's potential?
What?
Performapal Hippo.
Oh, yeah, that little guy.
He has a card that summons... He has a quick play spell card that summons him and up to 4 Hippo tokens. So what you do is you play that card, you summon the Squadron of Hippos, and then you play Leeching the Light. So you just basically honest an entire team of monsters.
So, a team of hungry
hippos. Yes.
Hungry.
I always wanted to play that game as a kid. I don't think
It was fun. I loved playing at a friend's house.
The other anti-meta deck right now, Relinquished. Suck.
Oh, Relinquished.
Suck.
God, that scared me as a kid. The design of Relinquish and Thousand Eyes Restrict scared me as a kid.
Yeah, it's mainly driven off of its newer fusion monster, Millennium Eyes Restrict, because every time an effect monster activates its effect, it gets eaten.
Of course it does.
And any monster that's been eaten cannot activate its effects. So if you have 3 copies of a super powerful effect monster that you just cycle through, if one ends up eaten while Millennium Eyes Restrict's on the field, none of them work. Which is awesome interruption, but difficult to play as a deck.
Also, I just want to point out to all those watching, when it comes to new Yu-Gi-Oh types, I'm basically like my dad when I would try to explain stuff to him. Like, it's like, I know these are words, but I do not know what they mean. It's
That's
like,
you when you'd explain Warhammer stuff to me.
pretty much, yeah. It's the problem is, like, I've been out of the game of Yu-Gi-Oh for too long that it's like,
To really engage with it, yeah, which is the problem with a lot of returners. It's like, you don't know what to play, and especially with Master Duel, once you commit to it, you can't really shift to anything very easily.
yeah. For me, it's just like the most I know are just like fusion, ritual, and effect monsters and all that. I don't know much else.
Yeah.
Like I would probably be like,
You need to show John 5D.
We
You
should
really
at some
should.
point.
I would love to watch that.
Sub though, because
Duh.
Yeah. I would love to watch that just to see what it's like.
Ayumi Kinoshita. Oof.
Yep.
Plus you
Yep.
Aki Izayoi.
Yeah, but yeah, GJ Toku about playing by Duelist Kingdom rules as a kid, as in no rules, because, of course, at that point the manga was a terrible guy. The manga and its anime adaptation were a terrible guide to actually teaching you how to play the actual game.
It really was. Battle City pretty
like,
much saved it.
Yeah, and to tangent off of that, Media Hood reviews, thoughts on Xade's hit and miss animations.
Oh, like when they hit it, and it being like a little hit.
Yeah, I actually like those because it more characterized the story as a game occurring in the real world, as was much of the motif of there. So it was just additional tie-ins.
Also, like, you could look at it as like a 60s Batman, like the bow and biff.
I also liked the critical strike cutaways.
Uh-huh.
Like, maybe a bit less neon with everything, but they made that work over time.
Yeah, it was definitely probably going for more like that 80s, like early 90s radical aesthetic, you know what I mean?
Yeah, especially with the Goshots being based off of older cartridge games.
Yeah.
I honestly would love to play a game that had that type of cartridge, just because I like the look of the Gasha.
Yeah, but that becomes the big question. Why didn't they not release an XA tie-in game? Because that's like brain.
That's like
That's like smooth brain.
That is corporate synergy.
Yes.
That is like, it's a no-brainer, dudes.
It's like if they wanted to do a sequel to Memory of Heroes, that would be easy fodder for recruitment for cast members.
Like, honestly, though, like, I would also really enjoy, like, another Memory of Heroes sequel where it's like, we, like, just take 3 different random writers and then have them all team up. You know what I mean?
DJ Toku on the Yu-Gi-Oh! Metagame, in that the Yu-Gi-Oh! Metagame is way too dense to jump in right now. It's not just that, though. It's that you have to pay ridiculous prices to actually get the booster packs needed to play as part of the metagame. Like, the Drytrons and the current Numeron monsters that are and the Eldritch that are topping the metagame all come from a, I'm not sure if it's a Hidden Arsenal pack, but I'm pretty sure, I think it's not Relentless Revenge, but it's one of those non-mainstream booster packs that they only release so many of, and right now the price for those I think is $500 a box because of scalping.
Yeesh.
Yeah.
Oh, and Media Hood, you're welcome.
Yeah. Didn't they release a 3DS game with Focus on Xade? I do not remember, but I think it was more like a it was probably more in the vein of what they were doing at the time with, like, Dynasty Warriors style story recreations, where it wasn't exactly everything.
If it was anything more than that, then we just don't know.
Yeah. Like, I honestly don't remember because it's been years, but I meant, like, story-centric game instead of story recreation game. Is there a Mighty Action X phone game?
I think it might have been one of those, like, promotional things.
Yeah.
I do that does sound vaguely familiar.
I did not mean promotional games, I meant actual tie-in developed property.
So many demons on the street. It's like you're in New Jersey.
Now, where's the Jersey Devil?
I've already answered that several times, Terror of Death, specifically to you.
About what?
They're asking me if I'll review the other Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime. Which is a no, but I will do a sum-up video with my thoughts on them because the project just basically died. Like, I don't appreciate having to answer the same questions over and over again, especially when they come from the same people. There is even an RPG where you can use other genres of gameplay to play from the Neptunia guys called Dead's End Request. Yes, I have a copy of it.
Okay, let's see what it. Base HP. Increase the HP.
5. Wait, did you just say 1010?
I know, I just said
John,
that.
he just said 1010.
Mouth.
John, why don't brain work?
Brain go smart. And cargo vroom.
No, cargo boom. Car don't go vroom. Only Boulder go vroom.
Well, that's only because the pioneers used to ride those babies for miles.
Yeah, they really rocked.
No, Alexis, Demons of the Street is basically London on a good day from Media Hood Reviews.
Yeah.
DJ Toku also, nah, Hood, that's Glasgow on a good day.
So Glasgow when it's sunny.
It's always sunny in Glasgow.
Anyone
No.
have any thoughts on Cardfight Vanguard?
That-
we
that
never
is a-
we
that-
never engaged with that.
Like, that is a franchise I keep seeing pop up from various people, and I keep hearing decent things.
What's
like,
it about?
I'm not sure.
It's basically just another card game promotional anime.
Yeah, like, let me put it this way. There is, like, so many different animes that other people have been watching that, like, I just don't have the time to, like, invest in. I apologize.
But it's kind of that same thing where you have a story where they play the game and it's promotional for the game, but they vary in how well they do at promoting that game. Like Kaijudo Duel Masters, like the seasons we got, basically did a terrible job at advertising how to play the game because it really didn't show you how it worked.
I remember that. Like, I think that's why Duel Masters never caught on, because what we got. Like, how would you play the game? You know?
Yeah, because okay, here's the funny thing about that. It might have been anime style, but that was not the actual Kaijudo Duel Masters anime that Japan got. So that's part of why it's confusing. The anime we got was produced by Hasbro.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Original to the Americas, because they didn't think that the Japanese version would be good. And then we started getting episodes of the Japanese version, and that confused things further.
My brain go hurt.
Yes.
I don't know what is what.
All we know is that who's the kid with the spiky hair? Shobu. That's it. That's about it.
I didn't know his name.
Yeah.
All I know is that it just, like, that the gameplay was reminiscent of Magic the Gathering.
Whoa, dude, my brain just got, like, sent back to the past because somebody just mentioned Beat 'em On, and I'm like, wow, I remember that. Battle Beat 'em On. That was the one with, like, the tiny robots that shot, like, ping pong balls or something like. No, not ping pong balls. It was like tiny little metal balls at each other.
Which was kind of just trumped up by Bakugan because spheres that transform into monsters.
It's
Like that's a gimmick. It's a legitimate gimmick.
yeah, that one dead.
Yeah. And there is like all those different like animes that came out that try to promote their various games and not.
Or not getting attention. Either way.
It was like a little column A, column B.
Yeah. Cardfight Vanguard apparently was good at teaching the game before the series Overdress, which fine. I never engaged with anything Cardfight, so I wouldn't exactly know, and was more basing that off of other precedent properties about those kinds of games. Like Future Card Buddy Fights anime produced by Sebek, I was told had that kind of problem. I might have not gotten all the details. The person who told me that might have been wrong themselves, but it has been a thing that has happened with a lot of those series.
You know what we should all invest in? Chaotix.
Chaotix. That's the...
Chaotic was the 4Kids produced game.
Oh god.
You just gave me like the most like deadpan stare.
Because you said Chaotix as in the Sonic characters.
Oh. Darby B. I get it. So next time I'm getting slashed to bits, John, I'll just back away, whip my hand like this, and then
He'll heal.
The strangest one that's had the revival though still has to be Beyblade.
let it
Yeah,
rip.
I've been seeing a lot of Beyblades at work.
Yeah, because they had a revival a few years ago with the new series and everything. And then you have the third-party, like, bootleg Beyblades as
Yeah,
well now.
I've been seeing those too. Yeah, it's like I've been seeing Beyblade, the bootlegs. I'm not sure which one's real and which one isn't.
Yeah. Which, hey, spinning customizable tops is a decent thing. It's a decent idea. Let's be real about that. Any game that allows for customization like that is kind of interesting.
I remember trying to get into it when I was a kid. I tried it at camp, but never really just... the problem was just never finding someone to play with.
Yeah, the physical mechanics of Beyblades actually was pretty interesting, considering you could build them in different ways so they were weighted differently, so they would behave differently in the arenas.
Beyblade Moses.
Like, even if you were to just have them go out on, like, a smooth floor, the defensive ones would stay and spin in one spot, whereas the attack and technique focused ones would go all sorts of different ways.
I gotta admit, like, there was definitely a strong appeal in that regard, because it wasn't like a straight up, like, you know, if my thing had more speed than you, then you automatically won. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there was like a build the best combination, and then you have to test them out, and then you have to play against people who might have built theirs differently, and there was an actual logic to how all that worked.
Yeah.
And all based off of actual physical rules. So you then have to think of the game designers in Japan with how they originally designed and tested those.
And also, like, the act of spinning a top never looked cooler. You know what I mean? Like, because that's effectively what Blade is, just, like, you know, really high-powered tops hitting each other. But, my God, like, let's be honest, like, those, like, ripcords and stuff.
Oh yeah, it was always fun to pull those out. I just wish I had more people to play with back in the day.
Yeah, that was always the problem. Like, you would always, like...
Yeah, with any of these interpersonal combat games, you either needed a sibling to buy the stuff with you to play it off with, or you need to have a group of friends that all got into it at the same time. And if those got popular in the era around video games where they might have not been internet connectivity based yet, but you kind of needed a group of people to buy into it at the same time.
Yeah.
Which is part of the thrift on that.
And then there was, of course, finding the time to play with your friends. And the only time you really could was school. And school, we're just a bunch of jerks about it because you're not allowed to have fun at school.
Granted, I kind of got lucky because in middle school, somebody just, right as the game was getting popular, someone decided, hey, we'll do a tabletop club. And the tabletop club mainly played Yu-Gi-Oh! So
I actually had a friend I played Yu-Gi-Oh! With in middle school during breaks. It was fun, but never really got far.
Yeah, so there was at least enough interest to support playing with other people without getting stuck going halfway across the city to a card shop that hosted tournaments.
Like, I feel like the reason why Yu-Gi-Oh! Survived as long as it did was because not only was, like, the base game, like, I honestly, at the end of the day, like, beyond, like, trap cards and, like, crazy strategies you can make, it is simple with make sure other person lose life.
Yeah.
Right? Like, how you do that is up to you, but that was, like, at the time, that was the only stipulation of winning. Right?
And the other big thing was you also had the anime promoting it and video game tie-ins allowing players that didn't get near other actual players a chance to gain play experience against the computer.
Oh, side note, who played Duelists of the Roses when it came out?
Oh, that thing.
I liked it. I'm gonna be honest, I liked it when I played it.
The problem was less the actual idea behind the gameplay and more the execution. Like, I liked the idea of the dungeon format, but it was very early in the game's life, so you had a bunch of cards you basically couldn't do anything with.
Yeah, I got that. But honestly, if I ever saw it, if I ever find a copy, I'm just gonna snatch it up just for, you know,
nostalgia's
nostalgia's sake. Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, it was the only way to get the original Magnet Warrior trio buying that game.
Yep.
And it was around the time that Valkyria and the Magna Warrior released, so they became big chase cards simply because of, hey, this allows you to send them to graveyard to summon big monster, and then sacrifice big monster to summon the rest of them for free tributes.
Right.
I loved that. I loved getting cards from video games, and I loved getting cards from Shonen Jump, which is why
I remember those were the days.
In fact, whenever I tried to found a copy at the library, I would try to be that bastard and steal them if the library hadn't taken them.
Yeah.
Or someone else didn't. God, I miss the days.
Like, I remember the first time my mom let me subscribe to a Shonen Jump for me, and that blew the door open.
That was the best.
Yeah,
time.
I unfortunately never was able to do the subscription thing with them. But I tried to grab the ones that had the free cards after they did the first volume promotion with the Earth Blue Eyes.
Like, honestly, I think my view on certain anime or mangas properties was affected by my time of reading the Jump as a kid. Like, I was there reading Bleach week by week when Ichigo revealed his Bankai for the first time, and my jaw dropping like, what?
Those were the days.
Like, and he's like standing there all cool, and it's like Tensa Sengetsu.
I remember that preview.
And
that
like
was
he has
cool.
like just this thin black katana, and it's like, what is this gonna do? And then he like just goes right up to Byakuya's neck, and it's like, hey, guess what? I can do this now.
I can reach you.
Shonen Jump did cards? In America, at least, yeah, they tried to do the same promotional cards that Japan got in their volumes of Shonen Jump. It didn't always turn out that way, and rates got wonky because America, whoever was running the American game at the given time kept not releasing certain cards because of reasons. We still have not gotten Maji Magician Girl because Kazuki Takahashi refuses to allow them to censor her, and there's actually nothing that actually requires censoring with Maji Magician Girl.
I'm so mad that we never got that card over here.
Yeah. Favorite OSP video?
I think they must mean Overly Sarcastic Productions, and John.
We don't watch them.
No. Me and John do.
Oh, you guys do. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. I tend to prefer like the Blues history, videos where he's just takes a snarky look at history.
I'm a fan of Red. I love her I'm a mythology fan, so I love her mythology bit. But I do like Blue's history hijinks.
Especially, I love those ones where he just talks about like little events in history that are just kind of hilarious.
Like my favorite will always be failed assassination.
Yeah, that one. I remember that one. That was how the V for Guy Fawkes was like a really bad assassination attempt guy.
Yeah, like here's the thing: for people that only know of Guy Fawkes because of V for Vendetta, Guy Fawkes is nothing like how the movie makes him seem. He wasn't a rebel looking for rights. He was part of a coalition of people trying to make things better for Catholics. Or was it Protestants? Either way...
Yeah, the movie is based on the comic, so...
Yeah, which
Alan
Moore also used the imagery of Guy Fawkes.
Yeah.
But it basically...
But the original Guy Fawkes was nothing like the guy from the Vendetta.
It's like the epitome of like, wow, you guys fail on every level you could have failed. Like,
and all because one of their number alerted a member of Parliament to not be in Parliament on the day they were going to bomb it.
Yeah, and then that made the Parliament guy to go, wait, why did you say that?
Basically they investigated because of that.
Oh, what's even funnier about that, Davis? So they were planning on blowing up Parliament with dynamite and like gunpowder and stuff, right? But they stored their gunpowder in a damp area, so it became utterly useless. So even if they succeeded in planting the stuff in the first place, it would have been gone off with a wet fart.
Opinion on Bandai trying to bring out a new One Piece card game. It makes more sense than trying to do a Dragon Ball card game simply because, or a Naruto card game for that matter, simply because the world is more developed and there is a wide cast of characters to make cards out of. The problem, of course, being that there is a certain power tier hierarchy that's going to be implausible to balance.
Yeah. I remember when
I think
a card game was announced back in the day. Burger King had some cards.
Yeah, it's like Digimon. You can sanely do a card game on because the characters in the anime are not represented exactly by those cards. But when you make cards out of specific characters in a series where the card is representative of the character, not the other way around, then you kind of get tied into how their system ranks itself. It's like there should always be someone who should be more powerful than someone else and whatnot. Whereas in a card game that then creates or in a series where the anime follows from those or is separated from it distinctly, then you can have them represent different things and not exactly power tier scale that perfectly. Dragon Ball actually already had a card game, actually. Dragon Ball has had at least 7 card games.
If you fail after the first 2, maybe you need to just pack it in.
It's just not It's not in the cards.
Like we talk about like Digimon card games, but imagine like doing a video on Dragon Ball
Yeah,
card games.
it's the same thing. Bandai of America does not want to commit to supporting just one game, so they keep just redoing it because they think the first version doesn't work. The original Digimon card game lasted through Cross Wars from its release before the original anime. That's over 10 years of stable support.
Which, 10 years for any game is, like, not bad, right?
Yeah. Whereas the Bandai of America kept trying to reinvent the goddamn wheel.
The wheel is fine. We don't need to make it square.
And the most recent Dragon Ball card game is just their latest interpretation of it. Hell, there was a different one released alongside the Battle of Gods and Resurrection F films that they discontinued. They only support them for a couple years before they try to reboot the entire goddamn thing.
I want this place. I want to live in some place like this.
Why would you want to live in a cave?
Because it would have cool stuff.
Why would it have cool stuff? It just has...
DJ Toku, to be fair, the British public don't really care about why Guy did what he did. We just use the day as an excuse to get drunk, shoot fireworks, and set fires. Basically, Independence Day.
Hey, listen, there's nothing wrong with that. No judgment. Like, if you just want to spend a day getting drunk with your buddies, shooting off fireworks, whatever, go right ahead. There's nothing inherently wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's nothing wrong with just having, having parties.
It's like St. Patrick's Day. Get drunk.
Yeah.
What can I say?
Oh god, can you imagine if Pinkie Pie got involved with St. Patrick's Day?
Revenge. What else? If the legend is true,
Everybody would get pinched because everything would be pink.
It's like, I thought the color pink would be better than green. It's St. Patrick's Day!
Ironically, St. Patrick's Day was yesterday, right?
17th,
Yeah. Ironically, I was wearing my camo pants, so despite me wearing my usual black shirt, so I was technically in fashion for the day.
Me, I've got a green jacket, so I'm good. And most of what I own is blue. I like blue.
I'm a diva dabba die.
It's time.
what are you doing?
Did you ever watch Kung Fu?
What?
Taxi Driver?
We're in a little hurry, remember?
All the best heroes shave their heads.
Travis Bickle is a good one right now. Who says you're the hero here?
You did. You said every hero.
Is he shaving his head?
Yes.
This is unearned baldness.
What can I say? I live in hope.
He looks like that one jackass from the Matrix movies.
The Snake Man?
Cypher.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
one that betrays him in the first movie
Yeah.
and dies.
Oh, yeah.
Why do people keep using that look as the look for a good guy? It's generally not.
Hey, don't you
Well,
understand
he's
that?
more of an anti-hero, so...
Here's the thing. That's right, Davis. Bobo is teaching us that bald people are evil.
I mean, generally, people who are bald are really old and out of touch with reality.
Bruce
So,
Willis?
What about Tin Shinhan and Krillin?
John, when has Ten Shinhan been relevant?
I did qualify old.
Why does this man have a Gatling gun in his cave?
Why don't you have a Gatling gun in your cave?
I don't have a cave.
Well, that's the problem, Alexis.
I'm a queen. I would live in a mountain fortress, okay? Like a badass.
That man's a badass, and he has a cave.
Yeah, he has mommy issues.
Parental, in
Parental.
general.
Yeah.
So do we all.
Also,
That's why caves are needed.
insulation would probably be a nightmare.
True, yeah.
Like, how many nights would be like cold as heck in a cave? Have you actually been in a cave for very long?
It depends on how deep it is underground, because, atmospheric temperatures can vary from underground temperatures. Still, yeah.
The logistics
Then again, he has atomic batteries, so he might just have a decent heating cooling system in there.
Wait a minute, are you telling me that the Batcave is nuclear?
Yes?
it's pronounced nuclear.
Oh my god. Why isn't that... I don't know. What if there's a story where the Batcave goes nuclear? Oh my god. What if the villain found out about that and tried to nuke the Bat? nuke the Batcave. DC, get on that. And I just died. Going in water.
John, did you try to swim?
I tried to swim. How did I know I
Have
was...
you not seen Dark Knight Rises, is my question.
That wasn't the Batcave going nuclear. I've seen Dark Knight Rises.
Okay, I need to better qualify this. Bald with that goatee.
Ah, that's right.
Again, anti-hero.
I'm just imagining evil Mirror Universe John with that goatee.
No, I can't pull off facial hair.
No, Mirror Universe John can.
Mirror Universe characters by default have goatees. We know this.
I don't want to meet Mirrorverse Lexi. She would be...
I mean, that was why it was the joke whenever I had a Mirror Universe version of a character in Ryuki. I did that freeze frame thing and put the goatee on them.
Yeah.
I honestly think several of my jokes in those reviews were just on point because I had the time to think of them, and I was in such a moody period where I felt like I was snarking at, like, the wind with that.
Sometimes you gotta snark like the wind, right?
Yeah.
Life gives you lemons. You don't throw lemons back at Life's face. You snark.
You make lemon grenades.
Oh, did you... speaking of the lemons, like the...
I saw that.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Colleen O'Shaughnessy was asked to do the lemon speech from Portal 2 as Tails.
And then Kaiser Neko.
Then Scott... Frakes, aka Kaiser Neko from Team 4-Star, edited over clips from Sonic X.
And with
okay, I have to look that up.
It's on his Twitter. It's amazing. And hearing the lemon speech come from such a sweet, innocent voice, especially for Tails, it makes so much sense. It's amazing.
Well,
funny thing is, it's not the first time I've seen the Tails character act like that, but it's definitely nice to hear it in a voiced capacity.
Well, and here's the funny thing: Tails is kind of a badass. Haven't you seen Tails' Adventure? In that, he takes on a whole empire just because they ruined his nap, and they had to die because of it.
Okay, this is a good point from Terror of Death. John would have to remember first, a villain would have to find the Batcave.
That is true.
Ah, please. Mad Bat's found the Batcave.
Well, he's a bat, John. Bats can naturally find caves. That's part of their powers.
Ra's al Ghul, he's found the Batcave.
Yeah, because he's Ra's al Ghul.
Joker's probably found the Batcave, but doesn't care.
Well, yeah, of course he knows where the Batcave is, because, he's going in there for a booty call.
Yes, but are any of these villains that would go out of the way to nuke the Batcave?
That's a good point, yes.
I mean, okay, Raish has his issues with Bruce, but I don't think they go that far. It's so impersonal for Raish.
Yeah, like, all I know is that Ra's al Ghul is probably just a lonely man that wants to hang out with Bruce, but he doesn't know how to make friends, so he has to keep trying to kill things.
And Joker wouldn't do it because he wouldn't find it funny.
That's
right,
a good point, yeah.
where's the joke?
How can I get in this car? I'm trying to beat him.
Maybe you can't drive the car. Because, John, because cars drive us.
Oh, that's why, because there's still one demon there. There you are, you little scamp! Die now!
Why can't I get in this car? Oh, that's right, there's a demon over there.
You're still here, you scampy wampy! Die now!
Which rule? Oh yeah, Rule 31, look in the back seat. Like, I guess you don't need to look in the back seat if the car won't open if there are demons around.
Ah, so that's where the library book I need to return went.
The last place you suspect.
Bane found the Batcave and broke Batman's back in it. Yes, but do you... One, would Bane be able to get nuclear weapons? And two, if Bane can physically destroy Bruce, then why would he need to nuke him?
That is true. We have to nuke the site from orbit. It's the only way to be sure.
Oh, Terror of Death is a voice in this. Actually, Joker has never found the main Batcave. I was thinking on the long lines of, the Adam West series where I'm pretty sure he was in the Batcave, but maybe he was blindfolded or kept unaware at the time.
Yeah.
Still,
Also, Riddler finding the Batcave, like, that reminds me of the ending of that, one event where, Bruce, like, where the Riddler figured out who Batman was, but then Bruce was like, yeah, go ahead and tell people about it. And, like, the Riddler couldn't say anything because it's like, if he told everybody who Bruce was, then he couldn't riddle other people on...
You wouldn't be the smartest man in the room.
Right, but because he now knows who Batman is, it's like, now he is the smart... It's like, guess what? You got exactly what you wanted.
Riddler has found the cave. Well, yeah, Edward Nygma is smart. SMRT.
Batman to card games and everything.
And again, it's the kind of problem where the Riddler's not the kind of character who would nuke Batman because, you know, how can you prove yourself to be smarter than someone that you just killed?
Good point. Oh, yeah, nuking not an option.
Nuking is not a plausible option. At least for Batman's rogues. To get down to, say, a crossover event or, you know, non-canon events or something like Future's End where that happens and, like, all bets are off.
Mm-hmm.
Because Bane is obsessed with proving his strength and becoming a ruler of men? Is that actually as part of his comics backstory? I can't...
He was born in prison and basically became the strongest man in it.
Yeah. So, yeah, a proof of strength thing is definitely not a thing to... would validate nuking the entire site from orbit over.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be the way to make sure.
Oh, yeah, Batman.
Oh, yeah, the Dracula movie. I love that film.
That is a good movie.
Great movie.
That is a great Batman movie. Like, that is, like, a legitimate, like, good crossover between, like, two icons.
Like, I hate Warner Brothers events where they specifically say that the supernatural does not exist in this setting that has used the supernatural before. I hate that crap.
That's why I love the magic side of things whenever they go into it.
Lex would nuke him, he's that petty. Yes, but that's Lex Luthor, who's usually the foil for Superman.
Are we really discussing who would nuke Batman? Who's gonna nuke Batman?
Yeah, there's a good one with Dustin. If Riddler's so smart, why ain't he rich?
Oh!
I remember that one from the cartoon, and that was fun.
Yeah, it's like, if you're so smart, then why aren't you rich? I don't want to be rich. I want to defeat Batman.
Oh, then you don't have good life goals.
It's the whole ego. The canonical reason is it's the whole ego issue. He has to prove he's smarter, and then you know, self-defeating because the only way to prove you're smarter than someone is give them a chance to actually figure you out. And that creates a point of self-sabotage.
Correct.
Yeah, I think I'm agreeing with you at this point that how are we still discussing this? Deathstroke would do it, yes, but Deathstroke's not a primary Batman antagonist.
He's
Everyone can be a primary Batman.
Deathstroke the Terminator's more of a Teen Titans villain.
Where are we on this? What have
Well,
I
because
done?
we must simply nuke the Batman! He knows what he's done!
Batman's
Oh, that's a good joke. Media Hood. It's replying, Riddler being rich is literally the only legit explanation for how he can build a dozen underground racetracks in Arkham Knight. Yeah, basically all of the Riddler's death traps in the later Arkham games are only, actually, yeah, a bunch of the villains in, some of the series only have an explanation of them somehow being rich from their crimes. But how would they be rich from their crimes? Because that would be taken back from them at any time they would be
Right,
caught.
like, so, begs the question, who finances these villains?
Yeah.
Is there, like, a evil villain bank loan?
I would like to see that. I mean, that was a thing in Despicable Me.
It's like, hi, yes, Mr. John Joker Jacob Heimerschmidt, you're wanting a loan for another card-themed death trap for Batman? Yes, that is correct.
Like, the Monarch had a trust fund.
The Monarch!
The Monarch had a trust fund.
Monarch!
I'm still going. Honestly, at work, I was wondering about cat names, and I thought, Mr. Mostly Mittens. May he have a better life than the cat that he would be based on. In that, I wouldn't sit on him. You know, the Monarch's cat that he kept stuffed.
Eh.
Mr. Mostly Mittens was my best friend. That cat could catch a ball of yarn. I mean, it's a cute name. Mostly Mittens.
Joker's afraid of the IRS because we would explain why he keeps robbing banks.
Yep. Can't pay taxes if it's not his income. Oh my god. Villain tax season.
It's
Like, imagine if there was a villain that was.
even not even the Joker would take on the IRS.
Captain Tax Time.
Oh god,
Hey.
that crap.
Hey, who wants to talk about Mr. Computer?
No.
There is an internet for the villains in DC. I'm sure there would be a bank for them. No, there's not a bank. There's a money launderer. There's a difference.
No.
Still doesn't make it legitimate income if they've stolen it.
Good point, yeah. Unfortunately, there are two money launderers, and one of them literally launders the money. Makes it worthless. Utterly, utterly worthless.
Wait, bison dollars?
R.I.P. Raul Julia. R.I.P.
It's like, these weren't worth anything.
Of course they will be. It's like when that
the Queen of England.
Like, what?
How's that gonna work?
There's the same amount of logic to it, but it's not legal tender yet.
Right,
Yeah,
but it
so
will
it's like-
be.
That's like,
I
oh
think
my
that's-
god! Bison would totally try to do Bitcoin.
Oh no.
Bison
no,
coin.
he wouldn't.
Now remember in the movie that the part of his plans only failed because he tried to pull it off before it was legal currency for his country.
Good point, yeah.
Yeah, exchange rates. It has to be exchangeable somewhere.
Except when it comes to humans.
Remember, he actually paid in actual money for previous transactions. It's just the one featured in the movie where it went nuts. To show the character's arrogance by that point, thinking he'd already won.
Yeah.
It's explained in the comics that most of the villains have private shell companies that they funnel their money into and through, which, okay, yeah, that's a type of money laundering, but, and a lot of their crimes are psychosis-based, but still, you ask the question of, they've got money now, why are they really being criminals further? Like, get help, acknowledge you need help,
Yeah.
or, you know, like, have someone in your life that would, help you against relapse.
That's the
I
problem.
mean, at least the Penguin in, like, kind of set himself up as that kind of high-class criminal over time. You know, being a,
Like, he's clearly rich.
what's the phrase I'm looking for? He brokered other people's crimes.
I think that's the best way to describe.
Yeah.
Die.
Like, enabled exchanges, kind of like the Quark thing from DS9. Not sure if that's accurate to all comics, because I don't know when the Penguin last appeared in DC Comics.
It's been a while. But I've heard good things about Colin Farrell's portrayal of him. Especially the fact that Colin Farrell looks nothing like Colin Farrell in that movie. Like, he looks... Like, the makeup work they did for him was just...
I've heard decent. I've heard the new Batman movie is not bad.
Yeah.
I've heard it's good. Heard
Like,
a lot of people-
honestly, for the sake of Robert Pattinson, like, you know...
I'm not enthused on seeing it, but in theaters, but I would not mind a watch through once it gets out on streaming or home video.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially since they like it's good that they go into the detective thing, which is like
Because let's be fair, like a lot of media like tends to focus on Batman being like the
Crime
smartest
fighter.
guy in the room, but like him,
Yeah.
but
They-
like not the detective angle. Right?
They have used elements of problem solving, trying to figure out what the villains are doing, and forensics in previous films, so they have it piece by piece, but they don't do the active detective work.
yeah, it's like a lot of it's tech based.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm trying to
Yeah.
get stuff.
Also, David Xanatos, like the other day I learned that David Xanatos was voiced by Riker,
Yeah.
and like
There are Star Trek The Next Generation voice actors all over Gargoyles.
But like I was just now imagining like gargoyles, but every time Xanatos wants to sit in a chair, he does the Riker thing.
Yeah. When you realize the primary two antagonists for the series are Riker and Troy, it's like it's so much amusement.
Oh, Troy was.
More
Demona.
Demona.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Not I don't think it was Loki who was the trickster guy.
Puck.
Yeah, Puck was voiced by Brent Spiner.
Huh. Keith David has such a buttery voice.
Ooh, the silk. God, I wish I had that voice. If I could do that thing like Duck Dodgers did with Tom Jones' voice, I would do it to Keith David for a day.
We steal Keith David's voice, you mad
For
man?
a day.
What is Keith David gonna do for a day, John? He needs that voice.
Oh, he'll be fine. What
Get
could
your own
happen in a
voice.
day? It's not like his career could go kaslooey in one day.
You don't know. He could be in the middle of an important recording session for all you know.
Okay, that is true.
Thinking once you finish this level, we're calling it.
Yeah. Because like there's no deep engagement here, plus I gotta do stuff before it starts getting dark.
Yeah, that's true. Then I'll just keep going forward. Luckily, these levels seem to be about half an hour each. No biggie.
So, like, obviously, computer stuff aside, I guess it's my turn next?
Yeah, but we're probably gonna have to wait until we get the normal the newer PC back because the old one hates the capture card.
Yeah. Which is fine, I just want to make sure I'm...
Yeah.
And I promise next time, next time it's my turn, it won't be something from Devolver Digital. Promise you that.
Yeah.
Like if I had known, I would have.
The best thing I can say about this game is that it exists. A lot of people want a Gargoyles Revival Terror of Death. A lot of people do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Blame Disney for that.
Yeah.
I will blame them for a lot of things. So many things. Including terrible DVD and Blu-ray releases. aka lack of them. And
I watched a video on the Gargoyles recently, and it suggested that one of the reasons why Gargoyles, got what happened to it was they the first season or two, they had the ability to take some time with creating their work. You know what I mean? But then when they asked for another season, then it became a how much time are we gonna get? Oh, even less time to do stuff? Oh dear.
Yeah.
Also, the third season, the Goliath Chronicles, is when Greg Weisman wasn't on the show anymore.
Mess.
yeah,
Mess.
that is just
Yeah, so a lot of people just don't consider the Goliath Chronicles canon.
That's just a shame, really, because it's such a good show.
Yeah, like the first, everybody says like I've never seen it myself, but everybody praises like the first 2 seasons as being like really good.
My biggest problem whenever Disney does a release of some of the Disney afternoon stuff on home media, they always put the stuff out of order.
Yeah.
And that's just not. You should.
It's like how do you mess that up, Disney?
It's the like, lack of effort. They just don't care as long as they sell.
Yeah, it's not even in production order either, because production order would make some logical sense for how things get messy, but it's in neither production nor release order.
They just release them. They don't care.
Yeah, it is a reminder. We're getting X-Men 97 and SWAT Cats Revolution for series revivals. But again, it's kind of the up to Disney-ish on that, in that those 2 things from... well, one thing from Marvel content, the other is, like, that's definitely Warner. But still, some things don't really need to come back. I think that's what some people are having problems with, in that there's money to be made about bringing characters back, but there's always, actually, not just always the risk, but that seems to keep happening more and more, that when you bring them back, you tend to do wrong by them. Code Geass, the 3 Kamen Rider events that have occurred in the last single goddamn year, some of the Sentai specials, I heard we have not seen No Way Home yet, but we've heard good things from bringing back Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, so this is not an absolute, but I've been disappointed by more anniversary events or tribute events in the last few years than I have when those properties were just left alone.
I think the problem with like an anniversary anything is that once you establish that you're doing an anniversary special, it puts forth like a certain level of expectation. You know what I mean?
In that drops plot points, things fans want to see. Like, sometimes you go in with no expectations, like when we did with Mazinger Infinity, and you're going to have a good time. And even from what we read about Mazinger Infinity, it has not been rejected by Mazinger fans because it was trying to do its own thing to begin with.
And it was also kind of spinning off the manga, like the anime version of Mazinger.
Yeah.
So at least it was like continuing, but it wasn't outright rejecting, and it was kind of also playing off the whole Koji was a kid then, but now he's an adult. How's he gonna like handle things?
Yeah, how do you handle being an adult in a world you've basically revolutionized?
Yeah.
And again, with Code Geass's movie anniversary event, the writer for the series basically disowned it from canon, so there's all that. Code Lyoko Evolution didn't exactly need to happen. The novels could be in the same field. I didn't know there were Code Lyoko novels.
Yeah, there was like another Code Lyoko series that apparently was not liked.
The live-action one was not liked, and there's been a revival that the recent revival was not liked either, because it was kind of rebootish.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what novels they were referring to, or if there were Code Lyoko novels.
I do remember enjoying that show as a kid, though.
Yeah.
I remember seeing a couple episodes on vacation.
It was definitely a strange show, like, in some regard, like, going from, like, a 2D cartoony aesthetic and, like, pushing to a CG game world aesthetic.
But it was also when they were still starting out with, like, using CGI integration for a lot of those things. Mm-hmm. Or CGI as a tool in general beyond Beast Wars.
But I do enjoy the whole, like, plots, like, being like, if they let this thing continue to happen, then it'll stay that way, right?
Yeah.
In the times when Xena, like, broke out into the real world, it was like a legitimate, that's not good.
Yeah. But there was a definitive conclusion for the original series, and then, obviously the Evolution series was trying to address unaddressed plot points by bringing stuff back, but going live action for it was not the way to really continue the story, because then there's all sorts of problems with that.
Plus, it's just jarring.
Also, the fact that the Monster Infinity dub, to bring back to that, Joey Wheeler was Koji, and I think that's just hilarious.
And it fit. For Taxper, it's for things that didn't actually disappear are the problem. Like, things that don't go away. I can agree with that too. It's like,
yeah,
we're about, hey, we're bringing this thing back. It never left. Or like, the previous times you brought the characters back, you did better with them than the actual anniversary event you brought them specifically back to continue and conclude their story for. I think that's the other problem. So many times with the anniversary events, they're so focused on giving a definitive conclusion that they forget to do it in a way that people would approve of, or it is dissociated from other events. The recent Kamen O's anniversary special, especially, like, you could have made that work, except you repeated the same damn things that have been done in the two previous V-Cinema / Toei Tokusatsu fan club specials, with you job the secondary writer and you kill off the primary for
like,
it.
It's a case of, even if the movie itself is, like, critically good, like, in the sense that, like, it functions.
Even if it was good on its own, in context to when it was released and the general fandom dislike for those things.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like,
yeah,
just because, like, something could be considered good on its own, it still doesn't mean, like, that's what we wanted to see.
Yeah, it goes from being disappointment to anger-inducing.
And, like, for me, I don't think, like, there are going to be some fans that are going to be pissy about stuff no matter what you do, right? But I think on the most basic thing you can do is just show some level of respect and care, right?
Mm.
Like, just something that says, hey, we are paying attention, right?
So, it's 2 hours, 9 minutes. Are you anywhere near close to a endpoint for...
I just about to go through a...
We could stop here, though.
I could, yeah. I'm good with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're ending things here for now. I don't know when I'll get my PC back, but I will listen to stream when it is back. We'll just have to wait and see about that. So thank you, people, and we're calling it here. Sorry about being in the middle of a battle, but there was no good stopping point.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.